Grant Robertson.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. It's a pleasure to join in this debate on Part 1A. This Minister in the Chair has a reputation politically that one of his favourite phrases is whatever it takes. That's the phrase that we hear that Mr Joyce has believed has marked his political career. And it seems to me, Mr Chair, that in Part 1A here, it is whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to ram through this separation without, in the opinion of this side of the House, sufficient and robust accountability mechanisms. And I want to talk in this call, Mr Chair, on Part 1A about transparency. Because as a member of the Parliament who wasn't on the Select Committee, as somebody who is interested in these issues, who knows about the importance of broadband to the future of the New Zealand economy, to the future ways in which New Zealanders will communicate with one another and the rest of the world, I am concerned about the state that this bill is in as it returns to the House. And I actually believe, as a Member of Parliament and a concerned New Zealander looking to the importance of broadband for the future, I cannot believe that this bill has returned to this House with the Minister in a state that I believe the Minister should be ashamed of. I know the Select Committee has done its best with this bill, but a number of concerns were raised in the committee that have not been taken up. And in particular in Part 1A, I want to applaud my colleague Claire Curran for the amendments that she's proposing. And in particular, I want to focus on the amendments to Clause 23 that she's proposing, because they are about transparency. And it seems to me, again, as somebody coming to this bill who is concerned about ensuring that we have not only the infrastructure that we need to be a proper 21st century economy, but also that we have in place rules and regulations that are fair and transparent, because both of those things are important to the future of the New Zealand economy. And as it stands, Part 1A falls well short of the standards of transparency that New Zealanders have every right to expect from this Parliament. Now, as my colleague has said, and Sam Lotoinga, the previous speaker, said that it was obscene for us to say things like the Minister of Miscommunication. Well, this part demonstrates why that kind of epithet actually does work for this Minister. Because what we see here is a situation where it's the Minister alone, man alone, Stephen Joyce, deciding about the asset separation. That's right. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. That's what the Minister's telling us. Well, the problem for members of this side of the House is that the track record in this area is not good. The track record in terms of transparency in telecommunications under this Minister is not good. And Clause 23, as it stands, fails to change my mind as a Member of Parliament interested in this issue, that this Minister has the transparent process we need. So that's why Claire Curran's amendment and the SOP that she's putting forward will actually enable the New Zealand public to have some kind of say in how this is going to happen. Because I'm sorry, Mr Chair, on this side of the House, we do not feel that the Minister acting as man alone, trust me, I know what I'm doing, is sufficient protection for New Zealanders to know that this deal stands up, that this separation is actually in the best interest of New Zealanders as a whole, and not just one company and not just this one Minister. So the change that we've got is to insert a number of new paragraphs to Clause 23B3, and also to include in Clause 23C a new sub-clause that the Minister actually has to take into consideration Section 69A of the Telecommunications Act 2001. And that includes the idea of the promotion of competition for the long-term benefit of end users. And that is New Zealanders, the end users of this broadband. It's not just Mr Joyce, it's not just Telecom, it's actually all New Zealanders. This is the equivalent of us working out the future highways of New Zealand, of saying, who are they for? Are they just for the people going on holiday up on the Pūhoi to Wellsford highway, or is it actually for all New Zealanders? Is actually the internet, is actually broadband in New Zealand going to be able to be available, ultra-fast broadband? The key to unlocking economic futures for New Zealand. Will that be available to all New Zealanders? Are we establishing a regime that's in the interests of end users, as Section 69A says, for the long-term benefit? Not the short-term electoral cycle, not the slogans that Mr Joyce might come up with, but actually that all New Zealanders have an opportunity to benefit from this. So that's the amendment that Claire Curran is putting forward in Clause 23C to add new Section 2A.
Stuart Nash.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair.